Hello. Good evening, Chiwempala. Good evening, world. Good evening, wherever you are getting us from. Elias Munshya here on TVBAKWETU. And today is a very, very good day. It's a Tuesday. There is, I think, a storm of some sort here in Calgary, Alberta. And so as I look through the window here, things are not too good. So I'm going to close the window because it's been raining for days. It's been raining for days. Otherwise, welcome to TVBAKWETU. Please share with as many people as possible because we've got to talk a little bit about some stuff that are going on in our country. All right. And so if you are able to, please send me any message, comment, and I am going to read some of your comments here. And that's the link to my broadcast tonight. So you can come in and then we can chat. I'll bring you right on the StreamYard here. Please let me know where you are listening to us from. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. I know that Chiwempala is listening, and so are the other areas in Zambia and around the world. So if you are, please let me know. Regan Chilenga is in Perth. is in Perth. Now, Perth is Western Australia, right? Now, is Western Australia an area or it's like a province or like a state? So thank you, Reagan, for joining. Junior Montali says more volume. So is my volume okay? Daniel Chilangamwale says you have flopped. I don't know what you mean by flopping. Flopping against what? What you have flopped? Details. How can you flop the details? So please let me know. Chilangamwale. Emma Songiso is saying Mwevamono Wipi. This is one of the best songs of the Serenge Kalindula music. I like it. Somebody is saying Tayali Follower. I don't know what that is about. Nice song. Is that only a band? No, it's a ranger. It's a ranger band. It's not Kalindula, but it's a ranger. Yeah, it's a ranger. Serenge Kalindula band, not Olia. But I also like Olia. They used to play some Lala music as well. Christian Senga says, welcome, thank you. Sylvester says he's watching from Zaftwin Palm. Okay, thank you. No deal, IMF dumps Saga in the Hichilema in the code again. I'll talk about this, but we've got to be very honest, and I'll be very honest today. I'm a little bit animated by such words that are coming from a so-called opposition leader. It's very sad. Now, Freddie Mposhi, if this statement is true, that it is coming from an opposition leader in our country, then it's extremely sad. And that's part of the things why I want to talk about it. Gladys Mwenda says, good evening, Bakwetu. Sir, please explain more on IMF deal. Lawrence Musute says, good evening. I sent you a message, Lawrence, please. Pastor Lawrence, I sent you a message. Please check and let's chat a little bit. Your consistency is very encouraging. Which consistency? Consistency is so many things, right? Pull up your socks when you don't and stuff like that. All right, now let's go to the IMF. Now, a lot of stories about the IMF. Number, I just want to simplify it because they complicate things if you fit easy, but panga complicated. So never go fit simplify for the people of Chiwempala because when we leave it to economists and very educated people, we come back disappointed and stuff like that. So not anymore. Number, what does it mean? If they're talking to the IMF, what does it mean? Number, first of all, you need a little bit of background. Pantu wafe wakobade. It didn't get to for answers, but background tapadi. And that is the problem, because in our country sometimes we do not like history. Like what people are saying right now. What is IMF? What is this and this? And yet what we need is to look back a little bit and say, why are we where we are at the moment? Okay? Why are we where we are? What does it mean to talk to the IMF? What does it mean for the Zambia's creditors to sit down with China at the table and discuss our debt? What does it really mean? Nalamu sopolwela pakawati mumfwe bantu abantu bachila mobufi mwamana evatu wale monatinga to abafumyapo pampando bakaleka obufi, but they haven't. They have continued to perpetuate lies. We must answer them in good faith. with due respect, we must answer them. Okay? Now, here is what brought us where we are. Now, once By the year 2000, Zambia to inkongole twakwete shadi about $7 billion. Ayin. MPA twakongwele about $7 billion. Some say 10, but between 7 and 10 billion. Enkongole chalo chakwete Zambia. Inkongole shavena. Twabure inkongole shagwa kaunda na chiluwa twachisankanya pamo. About 7 to 10 billion. So, by the time Abena Mwanawasa baishireba as president in 2001, Mwanawasa atampo kuteka. Kwali, what is known as Jubilee campaign. Jubilee campaign, it was a movement around the world. You lend all this money to these poor African countries. So, forgive these poor people their debt. Jubilee campaign. And there was goodwill around the world. Now, because Abasungu Tawashupa, if and they forgive us our debts. They forgave between 7 to 10 billion, such that by the time Mwanawasa left, Mwanawasa by the time Mwanawasa left, we had almost zero debt. Inkongole batwerera bale tweeted highly indebted poor country. Abasungu batwerera, and we started on a very clean slate. Now, the benefits of a debt forgiveness program, it takes time. And truly, what we noticed is that after Mwanawasa afwa, elopasa isarupia banda ambo kuteka. What happened was that ama fundamentals ya economy in Zambia yari sawa a little bit better. The Zambians could not feel it. They couldn't feel it at all. That's why under Mwanawasa abantu bengi bale irishane ko bale chula. It's actually one of the reasons why Sata came into power. It's because Sata exploited the feelings of the Zambian people. We were still feeling poor. Life was difficult. But Mwanawasa worked on fundamentals. He helped to have the country's debt forgiven. And because the debt was forgiven, it was very easy now to begin building an economy. An economy and the GDP that continued growing from the time that Mwanawasa died to Rupia Banda. And in fact, the effects of the economic growth continued until about 2013 in our country, both GDP and gross national product. We were on the trajectory of growth. And the reason why that growth was happening, debt forgiveness and prudent economic management by the Mwanawasa and the Rupia Banda administration. And then by 2011, those good efforts that were done, Akale, all those things that were done, they continued until about 2013. Of course, unfortunately, about 2014, Michael Sata came in, and then the Michael Sata administration, they went on a borrowing spree. Now, you remember that the whole reason why Zambia was in a better position was because its debt had been forgiven. When the Michael Sata administration took over our country, they found a very clean slate. And what happened? They went borrowing. We are going to go back. They went borrowing. And in fact, some of these money, Kalova, that the government borrowed under Michael Sata, it even had very fancy names. For example, Euro bond. Ababe never minister, in fact, but in the deputy minister of finance, what Eva Ireku New York, via Kongola. And ama reasons why the Congo la New York. By the Eva Bantu New York, if was as Zambia, we are in a very better trajectory. That work what then Congole to the Fiowino to Congo Sheni, Baba Pelama Euro bonds. In fact, they were even using fancy language at oversubscribed. Oversubscribed means Gawayamuku Kongola tu kwacha. elo nomba bantu bakumfo bwino sana within a few minutes bakupera tu kwacha ile balunda na pwempi yeshingi at aleko so kongole. That's what used to happen. Goodwill from international money lenders. And when they went to New York, muku kongola ma Eurobonds, na ku London, muku kongola ma Eurobonds, they were saying our economy is going to continue growing. And because it will continue growing to Kamidi Pila, Ishin Kongole. And so where there was zero debt, suddenly in Kongole Shambako, Okochita grow. Now, it's not that Tua Kongola, Elo number Twachta huge things with this money or good things with this money. No. Our Congole Eurobond, ya irekwisa Eurobond, Zambia Railways. Mwamona, sometimes anger is not a plan. Ubukali. Dangu ichilumba, ukuyumfwa. You see? Because sometimes tulakwata kariaka akachilumba. Akakwebati, mwaya Kongola Eurobond. Mwebere, we have this money to a Kongola Kaloba. We Zambians can do it. So let's go and invest this money in Zambia Railways. Tanzania does it. Shanshan Yoko does it. We can also do it. Badumbuisha in Zambia Railways. Borrow, mwadumbuisha in the business, Zambia Railways. It collapses. Now, that is just one example. They continued borrowing. After mwana Michael Sata, aba piene pampando. Na wopene ba konkanya po Kongola. We are doing good. Our money markets. Ba konkanya po. Ubuteko. Kanshibwari ubuteko bwa Kongole. The world you would take over Sakamene about the fundamentals of the economy. No. The world you would take over Sakamene about how do we grow our economy. There was nothing like that. It was not an economy that cared about expanding copper production. There was nothing like that. So they were borrowing and they had no clue whatsoever about expanding copper production. If they were borrowing to invest in things, right, that are going to help our economy, no. Kongola, half of it vaiva. That's why we called them Kongola Tuive. Kongola Tuive, meaning they borrow money, elo vaiva. So for many years, that is what used to happen. By the time that the new Dawn came into office last year in August, they found in Congole shonsenga mwashipenda nomba namwishiba ma economics savene ati kwa livefe bapende Congole shachalo nomba therefore kugonfya okupenda kwa kuchiwempala mwamona okupenda kwa kuchiwempala kwa bati nefyo lefu okufisa penda mapenderako so ngatwabule Congole shonse isho abena sata na aba nabo balungu baide Kongola twafisa nkanya pamo ayi elo tuwayasenda nenkongole shimbisho bale Kongo era makampani ya chalo ifya palazesco twasankanya pamo elo nba twapendela ko nenkongole isho ba Kongola Muzambia fyonse twafibika pamo $31 billion in debt enkongole twakwatarero, which means shachila inkongole shide mwana wasa H3 of 2001 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 by 3 times. $31 billion in debt. A kaloba to Kuwait. And one of the biggest creditors is China. I'm a Chinese. 7 billion. Which means much of the debt to accumulate against China. Mkwai niba lungu baire Kongola. Tabale fuwayo ko bat mulelanda poyo bantu bale monagona kalimo solution kufiro fifiachitika fie koti ni magic show bantu balungu na patriotic front bali ni parte ya magic show ain takwaleva planning kwaleva fi reaction against anger takwaleva looking at the economy. How are you going to expand the economy? They didn't have anything like that. So we have $31 So we have 31 billion in debt. Now, what happened was that as far as 3 years, I think 3 years ago, Yadiama Eurobonds to Congola, we failed to pay. Mwanfa, variabene vadia vaine Congola vadi epo badina lero dina vaine ku New York mkuya mku Congola Yadiama Eurobonds. They are still there today in opposition. We failed. Kuma Chinese about 7 billion. We failed to repay. No kulipira fiat kareka interest akapamulu. We failed. By next year, we are supposed to repay, you say the Eurobond, yeah, $1 billion. We are supposed to pay it. The question is, how do we pay that money? That is the question. How do we pay the 31 billion? People are saying, Mozambian economy tamulupia. Okay, tamulupia. And the reason is because, at least some are saying it's about 13 billion from the money markets that they borrowed inside Zambia, about $13 billion. How do you pay it? That is the question. The reason is, if you continue defaulting, first of all, your credit rating as a country is going to be trashed. One. Secondly, the money that is supposed to be invested in social infrastructure cannot be invested because you are going to be paying in Congole. How do you resolve it? Now, kuma economists, kuma economists. I think if there is anything that came up out of my Chwempala upbringing, number 1 + 1. That is the only thing that I got from Chwempala, amano ya Chwempala. How do you repay it? Inkongole shibi. Inkongole sha muntu urifewe muntu limbi kuti vaisa vivasa kusendera fridge chapo. Inkongole sha chalo, it's worse. How do we resolve it? Number ababa adipo. Ngero kwa tukwate enkongole 31 billion. It is because they had no clue of leading. Bali ni ba pompwe ba kerenka, bali ni ba kabwalala. That's why they let the debt continue growing. Tabasa kamene yo. Muevo ba Congola without a plan. Muleverenga bushite balungu baile ku Chinese president baya mukupapata balungu kuli Chinese president ati alempera filafino wachitire mwana wasa na ifwe bene tuwerere niko akana Xi Jinping akana number how are you going to resolve this 31 billion debt? Abale yafuirisha mwana waso kusova yama problems yankongole bena ngandu magande na basitumbeko musoko tuwane basitumeko musoko bali kwetaka poto muli mwana wasa bamuafuirisha bali shibe fya kulanda na abasungu bali shibe fya kulanda na Chinese bali shibe kulanda nefya kulanda na banks bali fichitapo basitumbeko musoko tuwane naba nabo bangandu magande eba mwafuirishe mwana wasa na bambi eko bali aba mwafuirishe ibyo ubuteko bwaisa pachipuna bwalolesha bweberetswe fetu. How do we resolve it? Echo bapangile priority ya kusolva inkongole mbale to solve. What are we going to do? Baesho kubomfya ile guilty abena mwana wasa ida nomba taibomba not anymore. Because abasungu nawo bebere ala imwe we forgave you mu 2000 mubwere nakaire ati mutwerereko. What did you do? Kuma Chinese tuwaya imwe ma Chinese mulatweba tuti banenu shani ama Chinese bakana nabo bebere awe 7 billion awe tatwamierere That is where the issue is. What do we do? Twalach tashani. Nindo twalach tapadi inkongo lepakoe bat muevo. Olupia loachalo. Luilaya mukuch tashani. Mukulipira bankongo leyo. Tubuli olulupia tushite momuti. Tubuli olupia tutwalire abantu ku masukulu. Tubuli olupia twafuirishe kwa balanda. No twala bafuirisha shani. Twala bafuirisha shani. Abantu bamo bebere no. If you mufire mwachita kuchita tax. Okay? Na alibo mfama economists bamo abalando ko bati all you need to do is to tax. So which means mwafaya makampani Zambia eno mwayachita tax. Nga mwayachita tax mukasange mpyesha kulipira ofi mwe dimwe na chiwe mpala. Alama economists babufi. Also le mwebo ko bati kuti mwachita tax okulipira ishinkongole babufi. 1 2 na business tabachitapo business hiyo. Tabachitapo business. That's why ngamwati mumone over the past few years abantu abashaba steady ababaleteka tababa steady in the sense that bala chinja taxation policy tababa steady. So akoba umfwa bachita akoba umfwa bachita, and as a result you cannot lead a country like that. You can't. The solution to Zambia's better economic output as far as our minerals are concerned is expanded production. Currently, we only produce 800,000 metric tons of copper. Now, mwali bobu fimu ya mwini, mwamona, mwali bako obu fimu, mwali bako obu change and everything else. Now, even if you accounted for all the lies and all the deception from mining companies, the truth still remains the same, that our copper output is 800,000 metric tons. No matter how much you tax 800 metric tons, it would still not give you the ability to pay $31 billion. Common sense. You can't. What is the solution? You need to expand production. When you expand production, what it means is that you have more people working. 1. Secondly, you have more economic activities going on. Thirdly, you have more players in your economy. That is what it means. You can't just say that you are going to tax 800,000 metric tons. Error. We need to move business beyond just classroom. If there is any gift that we have in Zambia, it's the gift of business. You see, the gift of business. The gift of business. Okay. Ngolesha salaola pachwe pala market. Elo, now kwata ama stands ayengi. Nango wesha komtengo, you can still make money because output yowe is greater. You can do far much better than a person who are doing shomtengo on one stand. That is business. So, if you are making a one kwacha, and you are getting a one kwacha kwingi, you can have more money than ule for 50 kwacha from one product. That is just how it goes. In other words, output matters. If you don't pay attention to your output of the resources that you have, you can't grow. What makes a difference in any economy is not necessarily what you have. Zambia has one of the best resources, natural resources of copper, of cobalt, of gold, and of manganese. All these things cannot help us until we go and dig it out and sell it. Now, there is a lot of debate about what we sell, but even at the point of digging and selling, you can still make money out of it. All copper producing countries have done the same. This thing we say at we can just do it ourselves. You see, when Chile, let's take the example of Chile and Zambia. 1964, our copper production after we created ZCCM actually dropped compared to the Chileans. What happened? Because our focus on growth is very limited. It's like tunnel vision. We've never looked at the fact that we need to expand our production. This government has said that their goal is to expand our growth from 800,000 metric tons of copper to 3 million. That is an investment into the future. It is something that then begins making people think growth. Companies, they begin thinking growth. Everything begins getting engineered towards that growth. That is what we needed, okay? Expanded production, number one. See, when you are aware that you have production in mind, you're going to be looking at your companies or at your assets very differently. So the question is, how much are we getting out of Mopani? What can we do to get more out of Mopani? How much are we getting out of Nchanga? What can we do to make more out of Nchanga? How much is in Konkola deep mines? What can we do? Okay. Can we start new mines? Can we go to Lumwana? Can we go to Kansanshi? Can we go to all those places, Kalumbila, and stuff like that? That is how you grow. Can we explore other areas and mine? Lower Zambezi, because you want to expand your growth so that the more mining is happening, the more economic output is growing, and Zambia is going to grow. That's one thing. The second thing is you must then deal with the debt situation. So first of all, it is all lies. It's a very good politics and very good anger. We'll just tax our way and pay the 31 billion, right? In actual reality, it doesn't. So how do you do it? You then begin negotiating. That's exactly what happened. First of all, expand production. Secondly, because this year we are supposed to pay 1 billion of that euro bond. What do you want? They are still there. How can we resolve this problem? That is our number. If Kongola started meeting together, what can we do? So we are going to combine Shimwenko Ngole twala mierela, Shimwenko Ngole mwala chitashani, twala chita postpone. Instead ya kulipira lero, mukalipira mailo, na mukalipira next year. Shimbinko Ngole twala mufuaira kukumbi, kubala mupela ko at a lower interest. Mwalipira badia bali busy. Bantu kwali baba mwama shailoko, bali busy. So, kanshi mwafuaya kukubu, badia busy mwabalipira. Emo chalo la debt restructuring. Any well-meaning Zambian who means well for our country, looking at the history where we are coming from, would support debt restructuring talks that are taking place right now. Absolutely. Why would you encourage those talks? Because they then help us to restructure how this 31 billion becomes due. When? And we can get some relief from some of it. That is what we wanted. So I am very concerned when I see an opposition leader in our country, Ale Pontela, these honest efforts at rearranging this $31 billion. And what is their alternative? You're going to tax. Common sense. Because ama investors you see, sometimes if into kuba very realistic. Kubomfya abasungu nama-Chinese. You know what you want. That is what prosperous nations do. If you have a sungu bachta, if you have a Chinese bachta, now if we benefit from it to use them for our good. Now, you get this sense that no, if my mind, let's just be in our hands. All these minds are ours. No, but who won't fear? They're ours, but we use others. That is the key. The reason why we are using others is because we are using their expertise, we are using their money, we are using their time, we are using their attention. So that concentrate you don't begin concentrating on no. You are licensing where copper yalava mind. But abalaya mumulya mubwendo abo mwala bomfya basungu bayayimba mubwendo ero mwapenda ati okay mwayimba po because mwachita invest mwala senda kwaka and if twala shara nefi and employ our people and stuff like that. That is how you grow any economy. That's how each and every prosperous country has done. That to learn that we don't trust our Zambian expertise, of course, it's going to be a combination. Foreign direct investment as well as our own investments together, working together. But what lacked in the previous confusion, Yaba PF, was that there was no foreign direct investment in our country. And that led directly to the suppression of, in fact, local investment itself. That's why there is no local investment company to talk about. Why do you think it is like that? Who were investing during the PF? It was NAPSA from the money that was taken from workers. Other than that, we don't have any other growth of the private sector in this economy. And what caused that? It was the clueless leadership of the Patriotic Front. Now that we have a government in place, the Hichilema Nalumango administration that has sense and that is looking at growing our economy, we need to support it. Absolutely. So some are saying we shouldn't go to the IMF. We should go to the private lenders. Common sense tells you that the private lenders, in fact, because I'm a private lender, politics, what it means is that you've got to show them your pattern of how you were paying before they lend you money. In other words, we can't even go to the private lenders. So that ama Eurobonds. You can't do that. Therefore, what you need to do is to speak to the IMF. The other thing is, why should we speak to the IMF? It's because like I'm a Eurobond lenders, but Eurobonds. What they are saying about us. If you are a Eurobonds people, balanda pali fufya kwebati, that wako hata discipline yo. Na auditing tamwaba. Nama systems ya kwebati ya tutahodi bakabola la accountable tapala. Echo nomba baebere IMF kwebati. IMF because you provide that system of accountability. It is not conditions that are coming from IMF. It is our own conditions as a country that we are trying to put on the table to say we are going to be disciplined in the way we administer this country's resources. It's not IMF imposing anything. The government of the Republic of Zambia is imposing discipline on how it spends its money. Takuli ukuiba, takuli corruption, takuli fetu muntu wasa wuka fepo katika bushkwatna kwa 1 million. There is nothing like that. That is the kind of discipline that is being put on the table. It is our own conditions, our own discipline, in order to bring our country back to where it needed to be. At least, if we can dial it back to 2011, we are going to grow. But what are these distractors saying? Detractors and distractors, what are they saying? They are insulting. They are throwing all kinds of shade on efforts that are being done to try and bring this nation back to where it must be. It is simple common sense. And I hope that common sense is going to prevail. Now, what is happening to the pain? Economic pain is being felt everywhere around the world. Everywhere around the world. When we are trying to put gas, it's double the price. Alberta is itself an oil-producing country, and yet gas prices are skyrocketing every day. It is a huge problem. The governments have tried. In fact, Zambia, they have made fuel zero taxes on fuel, which means government is not getting anything out of it. But through this pain, what we are going through now, we are planting seeds for an economy that is going to grow tomorrow. In the 9 months, as far as fundamentals of economic management are concerned, you've got to give this government A+. I'm telling you. In order to steady this ship that was leaking from all over, leaking. Takwali chalo mwevo takwali chalo yo. Abalipo, bale tekefia madongo dongo. Stealing, corruption, lack of direction, lack of policy, everything. When they face the problem, kuya kuma Chinese to borrow more, you know? No, it was total confusion. In 9 months, this government is trying to steady this ship. We better encourage it. I'm telling you. That's why these talks better work, because these are not talks at there is an alternative. If there was alternative, just 9 months ago, alternative. Alternative. What kind of alternative? I'm trying to stay out of politics. Ambassador. Nomba kanshirifa ku ambassador phansi. Umfweni mwebo. Ngachakutila aya ema solutions vakho ete ngachinshi tabayachitile 9 months ago. Va PF. Nindo tabafichitile. Umulando wako bathi if yobalelanda ba PF balungu naba nabo fyabo fi. Basangomu nabo ambo kubomba. They want to disturb him. Epera. When you were accumulating $31 billion of debt, I have no ideas. After 9 months, wateke kopa no mwamba okula muitire mpepo. Oyu minister, bashikulu bastumbe komsokotwane, eba liko during the Jubilee negotiations. Very steady. We need to pray to help steady our country. What will be happening is that no fundamental growth. Nothing. But when it comes to fundamental economic things, zero. And we'll be sinking deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. What we needed was a bandage. First of all, Doctor Nishina for nama gloves. Atonia mona muchilonda de abe. Atepo chiteka ripatem kwa ya bape. Elo nomba bula something, Vaseline. Elo nomba shinga po na bandage alika po. Pokwe nombe chalo chiseshan chunda pwe. Elo nombo muntulelo ambe kwa yo IMF shan. No. Nimwe, had it not been for your careless leadership, we wouldn't be in this mess. How would we? Had it not been for the cluelessness of the Patriotic Front, by now we would have continued under that trajectory of growth under Rupia Banda and Levi Mwanawasa. We would have attained that middle income status by now. We couldn't. Because the people who were managing, you see, what hurts me is not necessarily that they destroyed the country, but the continued arrogance 9 months after they are kicked out of office. That is what disturbs me. And there's some people that are even giving them a voice. Of course, here Aka has a program, Punch for Punch. He's bringing them on TVBAKWETU so that he can punch them. But anyway, it's just 9 months ago when these people destroyed our country. These Kelenkas destroyed our country. 9 months later, why didn't they do all those things? It's because all those are tired ideas. They don't work. Imagine, at KCM, no strategy to grow, nothing. It was just a strategy to steal. They exploited the people's anger, not to solve the problem that was in Chingola, but in order for them to steal. That's why, look at Balungu, Babula mine. Instead of solving whatever problems were there, Babula mine. And then Basa Tube Party, it's now in government hands. No. Balungu Badisa Pelom Nabo Miringolungu to run the mine. Miringolungu alechisa awule mpia sha company abika mu account yangu shachisa any interest elo nomba weke shamu. You see the orchestrated plan of looting. The reason why we are saying this is for you as our people in Zambia to understand that what is happening now, the measures that are being put in place to heal our economy are great measures, and they are going to benefit us. There are so many candiles under the Patriotic Front who are not benefiting today. And because there is no one paying, because when you don't shamuntu ni palove, mama, takudimpia they are being paid because they are talking. There is nothing like that. So akaka lumendo kena bantu kena kadi tuweba noko tuwebo kwa industry yakwe kulala ndafie kuwa mulipira nomba ba UPND tabale lipira abantu to talk on their behalf. No. Nakafurua echo kale mubepera nomba kuisa kubepa kabi kaponolu pato. No. It is up to you as the people of Zambia. Abwaba kwete solution lelo nga 9 months ago yari kuisa solution itakuwa ndio, because they were thieves and they want to come back to continue stealing. The plan that is being put in place right now, it is a plan that leads towards economic growth and prosperity for our people. That's what it is. Jobs, jobs, jobs. And in fact, that those jobs have been demonstrated right now. Jobs in healthcare, jobs in education, but that is not enough. That is not what is going to heal our country. It's not enough. It's a good start. Private sector jobs, more mines, more heavy investments in Konkola, in Mopani, in Mufulira, in Chidirawombwe, in Kalumbira, all those gold mines, heavy investments in there. And we are going to see our country begin prospering. Number, they prosper in Congole, they are all over your head. Gawa Kongola Kalawa, Namuja, Elomba, they too lad and okla, if you nature child, they too send them, they can't and we will get the what will these people do over the 31 billion number? We want to solve that problem. Cover resolved Kareka problem, it will be easy now to direct attention to other things and other sectors to grow our country. That's why we need lots of encouragement. Lots of it. Because ngabalekela coffee umulere Ngamwaingira fyo mulere nishi fintu fya pena. Nishi fintu fya pena. Echo ndandirapo pali ba Patriotic Front. It is because they are responsible for the mess. Nani, what? Who took us in this mess? Eba chitire mwe. No, tulanda ati ni umbi uchitire. Awe. Obu bwafyo nibo ebo. If 31 billion mulemon, $31 billion in debt, it is because of President Edgar Lungu. Nabo. They are the ones who led us into this mess. And what is President Hakainde Hichilema doing about it? He is expanding our growth. Nokuleto muchinshi kuchalo bantu twalisolwa. And then he's renegotiating that debt. Tupate. Iyo. Tuwapereko okay. Namishwa 5 years. Okay, 5 years. Ngabafi Rwanda 5 years. Kuti mwazala ndati kwena bafi. No, 9 months. Any well-meaning Zambian is going to pray. Ema pepo aya lefo aikwa. Not ema pepo ayako that Christians for Lungu. No. We want Christians for Zambia. Okupeperera Zambia. Na abama negotiators to sit down with the church. Bantu, you say, you're saying that no, why should we go to these people? No, but ni momo ile Congo la. Iwe na la mulumbula. Ni uwa ile Congo la Eurobond. Wa Congo la Eurobond. No kuitakisha sana. Ile wagwerere mu Lusaka. No, Eurobond shan. We mwaume. Number unobe alefo kusova ile Eurobond wa ile Congo la. Webere yo. I have a better plan. We mwaume. Your plan was just to borrow and steal. You had no plan. This gentleman in State House today has a plan to repay in Congole wa Congole and grow our economy. Biting as it is today, tomorrow it is not going to bite anymore. That is the focus. That is what we are looking for. Things may be slow today, but they will be okay tomorrow. And that is what we are looking for. From this point of view, IMF programs based on list of standard. Now, first of all, I just want to dispel of your own if you talk about this IMF imposing conditions. These conditions in fact, these conditions were imposed by the people of Zambia themselves. In August, we, the people of Zambia, imposed conditions on ourselves as a country because we said no to theft and lack of policy direction under the Patriotic Front. So we impose this condition on ourselves that Zambia can do better, that the best for this country was still ahead of us. Yes, we imposed those conditions on us. Discipline, financial discipline, stopping corruption, and lack of clear okushipa. We said no to that. And we imposed on ourselves a government of total discipline, a government of total direction, a government of kulanda na abantu. Not the government of Congo Latwive. FJT University, Congo Latwive. Ntumpa University, Congo Latwive. Lusaka Ndola Road, Congo Latwive. Airports, Congo Latwive. Milenge District Hospital, Congo Latwive. Everything, Congo Latwive. We said no. Now, for Chinese, we are doing the same. To talk to them, imwe Chinese, monen, uku tukongosha 7 billion, moshe tamwaishi we tamwaishi, those are some of the negotiations that are going to take place. Echo, imwe bonse imwe, that are monitoring my program by IMF. Nabambi, nabalungu nabanenu. Please. What we worry about are the people of Zambia, Zambians, to escape this curse. It is so. No, you see, no, IMF Shan, ni mwemu ya komuku kongola. Nshishibe nganalala ndira kwisa. Mweba, ni mwemu aire kongola kuba sungu ni mwe. First of all, abasungu bali yikalira bene ku New York. Elo imwe mwanine ndeke first of all mwashite ticket. Elo mwashtana very very expensive business class. Elo mwanine ndeke from Lusaka to Dubai kachinga ni ku London kulia mwaya ku New York. Elo mwaya kongola impia from abasungu. Umunemu aisa ebere, that was an anomaly, we need to cure it. Mwafuro. It is confusing me. Ngachishi mwafurirwa. Mwebaire. Ero dida mwafika ku New York. No koposa nama pictures. Ero di omuntu ulefu ayo kuchita resolve yali ama problems. Eo mwambo kusekati yo mkwa yuyu wabasungu. Mweba ume. Mwebaire kuba sungu ni mwe. Mwebaire ku New York kuya Kongo la kaloba ni mwe. Awe. Como chita encourage alifi wino ale tubombera ni fue ale bombera fue bekala chalo. That is what is happening. In fact we are praying, even praying, and in fact the president should even call for a day of prayer. Pakobati tuka pepere ifwe bapen oku peperere chalo no ku peperera pakobati shiyenko ngole shaba lungu naba nabo shonse shida shibe resolved. Pakobati we begin on a new slate. Valores. Therefore, I push up mbale before we go any further. Aba ile Kongole shinibani.
Ma PF. It was a shopping spree for PF.
What about the internal debt? Kainge kwa liwa external debt in Kongolesha bantu. Internal debt. Aba Kongole ni bani?
Ni wa PF mkwai.
Aba lechita ama contractors ni bani?
Ni wa PF mkwai.
No, ngaba ichite manifinish balechita.
Balechita and bando shiyeshi ni Kongole wa PF.
No ba Lawrence ndefo amunje fuirisheko. Uwa lufianya. Bali kulio wa Kongole 31 billion. No lefo ayo kulipira 31 billion ni nani?
Ulio wa Kongole mkwai.
Bushe Lawrence, if it complicated.
Takuli nama complications ba doctor. Unless abantu fenga na bafurunga na pantu, katwishi.
Fwebena Zambia. Ife tu abafundishepo ba PF. Nife tu alandiro ko bati ba PF ukerenka bwachiramo tu abafunyapo. Ero tu abieka kwa baba. And so Zambians are paying attention. They are not going to believe any of these lies. Because if these guys are the solution, 9 months later, couldn't they have solved them? Remember, Namushawa Lawrence, Kulina Imbi problem. We can just tax our way out.
It's not possible, but doctor. You see, you cannot sit in a bucket and carry yourself. It can't happen.
Sit in and carry yourself. It can't happen.
You can't sit in the bucket and carry yourself.
Some people.
Yes, bakwimya.
Our Mwandin Bantu, these people were lying. Na mwishiwa inechin kalipa by Lawrence Lekeni Mweve. These people mismanaged our country. But what really hurts me is the fact that Tabachta realized that they were clueless. Na mwishiwa ngawalufyanya bonsa abantu balalufyanya. But PF, they should have realized that no kwisa londolola, and in fact, they need to be silent for about 2 or 3 years.
That's true. That's very true. I think the problem which I have come to realize with our brothers is that they can't accept the reality, you know. So the faster they realized that what they did was wrong to the Zambian people, the better. Okay, because now instead of real checks and balances, they are so that people can see that they are talking, you know, without any substance.
Okay. Cosmos period, a bad carpet always blames his tools. This is common sense. Okay. If the example of bad carpenter and what a bad wife, about wives, Cosmos period. Okay. If it's about wives, kanshi, Ishinkongolefet 1 billion kanshi, we are going to take it. Nokutuwalira balungu naba nabo, so that if we're with our new wife, tuambe on a new slate. But as long as there is this state 1 billion, iyo lungu naba nangwe batu shirire. We are going to recognize yokoba to yumuntu alefo kusolve yama problems yako alungu. Lungu emu ine wathet 1 billion ni lungu naba nangwe PF.
No, that's very true, Doctor, because can you imagine, I'm managing an investment company in South Africa. So in around 2018, 2019, somewhere there, someone came to approach me. They didn't know exactly, they only knew Lawrence, they didn't know my surname. So someone came to approach me at my office with a guarantee, a sovereign guarantee signed by the president himself, President Lungu. And they wanted some funds to recapitalize ESCO. So now I ask this guy, who are you dealing with? The president he will never be allowed to sign a sovereign guarantee. No, you know, this is a special arrangement. I just said, my God. I didn't say a lot of things. I said, I will not deal with this.
Right. Musalale Kingsley, are you there? Chandra Newton.
Yes.
Newton? Yes, please.
Yeah.
Let's push on.
Yeah. This nara kwa kunalala na kuistaimbia hapo.
At Bushelungu, does he sleep? I hope he does. Antu kwena alawafia. I just want to help to understand exactly where we are. Umuntu alesolve is it ya kumutasho lesolve a problem. Mwamba kokulamu it's complicated. No.
The other problem, Doctor, is that the PF government, you know, had embarked on weaponizing poverty in Zambia, so that they could easily manipulate the people. So when they went to the people and gave them handouts, those who were sleeping thought that the government was working when they were entitled for such.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm wondering, some things are working well, and we are encouraging the new Dawn administration to continue working very hard for the people of Zambia. It's not easy because going to 1 billion, it can never be easy.
No.
Imagine.
No, it can never.
Imagine a job where kutuwa kongola fyose fyole fo kongola elo nombo wasafuma pofi bwino washiro omunobe ama problems elo lili omunobe atampa okusolve ali ama problems wamba nokumuseka we nishashani hiyo kashi isho muteko kwa bashani kashi fibomba shani wakongola walufyanya fyonso wapasa confusion elo muno byasaisa amba kokuwabya kwino shanshani ifi abika kwino elo nomba wamba nokumuseka ati uchimonene ichi no man, let's just use Chiwempala common sense here. Just common sense from Chiwempala. Yakanya. We must go now. Thank you very much for joining us. Elias Munshya here on TVBAKWETU. Good night. God bless you and God bless our country. We congratulate our TVBAKWETU member here, known as Dr. Melissa Kapulu. Now, she's no longer doctor. She's an assistant professor at Oxford. Oxford University, perhaps the first Zambian to be an associate professor at Oxford. So to you, Professor Melissa Kapulu, we congratulate you and keep it up. All right? Good night. God bless you and God bless our country.